Mr. Durham, your report is not just sobering, as you stated. It's outrageous and deeply troubling. Can you confirm these several main points that it found? The FBI did not have an adequate basis on which to launch Crossfire Hurricane, correct?
That's correct.
The FBI failed to examine all available exculpatory evidence, correct?
Correct.
FBI leadership continued the investigation even when case agents were unable to verify the evidence, correct?
That's correct.
The FBI did not interview key witnesses in Crossfire Hurricane, correct?
Correct.
And individuals within the FBI abused their authority under the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, correct?
Correct.
The FBI immediately opened Crossfire Hurricane as a full counterintelligence investigation. What other options could the FBI have taken rather than immediately opening such an investigation?
Attorney General Edward Levy essentially created the guidelines in this area, these three divisions of assessments, preliminary, and then full, although they were different names at the time. That has evolved over time and become more particular. In this instance, the information that they had received from Papadopoulos about a suggestion of a suggestion, and not anything about emails, but just a suggestion of a suggestion, was sufficient and would have required the FBI to take a look at, well, what is this about? You open it as an assessment, and then you would analytically go try to collect intelligence that either supports or refutes or explains that information. That's the whole purpose of it. You assess it, and then you can move to a preliminary investigation. And if the evidence bears it out, then you go to a full investigation where you have all the tools available, including the most intrusive physical surveillance and electronic surveillance of U.S. citizens. Here, they just immediately went to open it as a full investigation without ever having talked to the Australians or gathered other evidence.
Right, so investigators relied on misstatements by the confidential human source, ignored exculpatory statements made by Papadopoulos in submitting the FISA application to surveil Carter Page, correct?
That's correct.
Is it true that an FBI employee fabricated this evidence? Can you expand on that fabrication and the reliance to support that FISC application?
In connection with one of the extensions, the final extension renewal of the FISA on Carter Page, one of the agents who had come on board wanted to be certain that there was information that was their information as to whether or not Carter Page had been a source of information to the CIA, and pressed Kevin Cline Smith in the General Counsel's Office of the FBI on that point. Cline Smith got a hold of people at another government agency, intelligence agency, on the issue, and that person said that yes, in FBI parlance, Carter Page was the source, and put that in writing. When Cline Smith talked to the agent who was saying, we want to be sure on this, was he or was he not a source, Cline Smith said, no, he said he's not. He said, did we get that in writing? Cline Smith said yes, and they said, well, I want to see it. And then Cline Smith altered the other government agency document to reflect this, to say that Page was not a source, when he in fact was a source. That's the gist of it.
What did the investigators mean when they said they hoped the returns on the Carter Page FISA application would, quote, self-corroborate?
That is another troublesome thing. Maybe agent they're saying, well, if we can get on surveillance, electronic surveillance of Page, then we'll find out essentially whether we really do have probable cause or not. He would self-corroborate in that sense.
Are investigators supposed to corroborate information before or after it's included in a FISA application?
Yeah, you have to have that before you intrude in the liberties of American citizens.
In fact, the FBI is required to follow its Woods procedures, which the FBI adopted to ensure the accuracy of the information contained in FISA applications, correct?
That's correct.
And did the FISC ever criticize the FBI's handling of the Page FISA application?
Yes. And
what were some of those concerns that they raised?
Well, ultimately, the FISC issued an order, a memorandum indicating that had the information that was disclosed in the investigation done by Inspector General Horowitz, a very thorough job and a good job and a well-written report. Had they known that, at least the second and third renewal applications would not have established probable cause. And I think the the Department of Justice acknowledges that as well. If the FISC had all of the information that I think is included in this report, I think it's highly doubtful that there would have ever been an application submitted, and if it was submitted, that the FISC would have ever granted that order.
Thank you. I yield back.
Yields back. The gentleman from Tennessee is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Durham, you were appointed by whom? Who recommended you and appointed you?
As the special counsel?
No, as the U.S. Attorney.
As U.S. Attorney. It was President Trump at the time, with 2 Democratic senators from Connecticut supporting the nomination.
Mr. Trump appointed you. You believe Mr. Trump has pretty good judgment on people and their abilities and their character?
I'm not going to characterize Mr. Trump or my thoughts about Mr. Trump.
Mr. Barr appointed you special counsel, is that correct?
That's correct.
Mr. Trump has called Mr. Barr a gutless pig, a coward, and a rhino. Which of those is correct, which isn't?
In my experience, none of those are correct.
So Mr. Trump isn't that good of an expert on character and judging people. In your opinion, he isn't, because he's none of those. He's not a gutless pig. But Trump says he is.
Yeah. That's outside the scope of my report.
Also outside the scope of your report, apparently. Also outside of the scope of your report was apparently the meeting at Trump Tower between the Russians and the Trump boys, where they talked about allegedly adoptions, but we know it was really about sanctions. How was that outside of your report?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't quite follow that.
Meeting at the Trump Tower, Russian attorney came to Trump, and Donald Trump Jr. was just wonderful, wonderful. We love it. We love it. Russian decisions to interact with the Trump campaign and influence the actions of the campaign, allegedly for adoption law, but really for sanctions relief. The FBI came up with that, did they not?
A meeting took place at Trump Towers on June 9th. The lure, as I understand it, was that there was derogatory information on Clinton that was going to be provided. They met, and as I believe in a HIPSI report, the HIPSI report fully laid that out, that the discussion then at Trump Towers was about adoption, not about anything relating to Mrs. Clinton.
It was totally about sanctions. You're trying to get rid of the Magnitsky Law. Adoptions is a ruse. Should you not have gone and looked into that and seen what the Russians were wanting in return for that? Because that's the biggest thing Putin wanted at the time, was to get Trump to relieve his people of Magnitsky sanctions.
I think that Director Mueller investigated that, and I believe one of your House committees explored that. That was outside the scope of what we were looking at.
And it was outside the scope of your authority to look at Klimnik and Manafort meeting and exchanging polling data?
Was that out? I'm sorry, I'm not following your question.
Manafort. You remember Manafort, the crook that managed the campaign for nothing but got tons of money from different Russian people over the years? That y'all pardoned, Mr. Barr later helped him with a commutation or a pardon, I think a pardon. Manafort.
I know who Mr. Manafort is.
Yeah. He met with Klimnik, and they discussed polling data. You don't know about that?
No, that Mr. Klimnik met with a lot of people, including people
He met with Manafort and discussed polling data. Do you not know about that?
I'm aware of that.
All right. Why did you then not think it was a good idea for you to look into it and see if the FBI wasn't correct in that there was collusion, a connection between Russia and the Trump campaign to elect Trump?
My assignment was to look at the conduct of the intelligence community agencies, not to conduct some separate investigation that was done by the House or that's done by the Senate or was done by Director Mueller.
You don't think that if the intelligence communities, the FBI, others came up with this information and did good work, that should be part of your balanced report?
Yeah, well, I'm not following your question. I apologize.
Well, I've tried to follow your report. Mr. Donald Trump Jr. would have called it a nothing burger. Mm-hmm. You got no convictions. You got nothing. It was all set up to hurt the Mueller report, which was correct and was redacted, to hurt the Bidens and to help Trump. And you were a part of it. You have a good reputation. You had a good reputation. That's why the 2 Democrats supported you. But the longer you hold on to Mr. Barr and this report that Mr. Barr gave you as special counsel, your reputation will be damaged. As everybody's reputation who gets involved with Donald Trump is damaged, he's damaged goods. There's no good dealing with him because you will end up on the bottom of a pyre. I yield back the balance of my time.
Sure.
We presume the gentleman's undecided on how he feels about the former president.
Gentlemen, the witness can respond.
Yeah, my concern about my reputation is with the people who I respect, and my family and my Lord. And I'm perfectly comfortable with my reputation with them, sir.
Well said. God bless you.